Breaking news, Luka Dončić has been traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. In a deal that nobody saw coming, the Dallas Mavericks have officially moved on from their franchise superstar, sending him to Los Angeles in a shocking blockbuster trade that has completely shaken up the NBA. For the past 6 years, Luka Dončić has been the heart and soul of the Mavericks, a generational talent, an MVP caliber player, and the guy fans believed would bring multiple championships to Dallas. And now, just like that, he's gone. This trade has left fans stunned, outraged, and full of questions. Why did Dallas let him go? Was this really Luka's choice, or did the front office push him out? And the biggest question of all, was this the worst mistake in Mavericks history? Oh, and let's not forget, this trade is costing Luka over $115 million in lost earnings. So stick around, because we're breaking down everything. How this happened, the reactions, the winners and losers, and what this means for Luka, the Lakers, and the entire NBA. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. If you're liking our content so far, please like and subscribe and check the bell notification so you don't miss any future videos. Now back to the story. Alright, let's break this down piece by piece, because this trade has completely altered the future of the NBA. On February 2nd, 2025, a moment that will be talked about for years, the Dallas Mavericks made a decision that nobody saw coming. They traded away their franchise cornerstone, Luka Dončić. Yes, Luka Dončić, the 25-year-old generational superstar, is officially a Los Angeles Laker. The full details? Let's go over them. The Dallas Mavericks sent Luka Dončić, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers in a blockbuster deal. In return, the Mavericks acquired Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. But hold on, it wasn't just a two-team deal. The Utah Jazz also got involved, picking up Jalen Hood-Schifino and 2 second-round picks as part of the exchange. Now, if you're shocked by this trade, you're not alone. The Mavericks just traded away a 25-year-old MVP candidate, a player who has already made NBA history multiple times, for a 31-year-old Anthony Davis, who, let's be honest, has had a long history of injuries and inconsistency. And let's not forget, Maxi Kleber has been one of Dallas's most versatile defenders, and Markieff Morris may not be a star, but he brings toughness and experience. On paper, it looks like the Mavericks completely fumbled this trade. Why give up a superstar like Luka Dončić, one of the best offensive players of this generation, for an aging big man whose availability is always in question? It doesn't make sense, right? But before we jump to conclusions, we have to dig deeper. Why did this trade really happen? Was it just about basketball, or was there something going on behind the scenes? Let's break it all down. Let's be real. The Dallas Mavericks didn't just wake up one morning and say, hey, you know what? Let's trade away the best player our franchise has had since Dirk Nowitzki. No, this trade wasn't random. This trade happened because of a lot of behind-the-scenes drama that had been boiling under the surface for years. Drama that fans weren't supposed to see. So let's break it down. First off, we have to talk about the Mavericks' ongoing struggles on defense. For the past several seasons, Dallas has been one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, and Luka Dončić, despite being an offensive magician, has never been known as a strong defender. Mavericks GM Nico Harrison even said it himself, defense wins championships. And let's be honest, he's not wrong. Look at every NBA champion in the last decade. The Warriors, elite defense. The Bucks, dominant defensively. The Lakers in 2020, LeBron and AD anchored a defensive-first squad. Meanwhile, the Mavericks have been relying almost entirely on Luka's offense to win games. Now, of course, Luka is one of the most gifted offensive players we've ever seen. His court vision, his step-back three, his ability to dominate any defender in front of him, it's unreal. But the truth is, his lack of elite defense has hurt the Mavericks in deep playoff runs. So was this trade about fixing that problem? Because if that's the case, then the front office was essentially saying, we're choosing defense over offense. We're choosing Anthony Davis over Luka Dončić. And let's be honest, that's a bold move. But here's where things get even more interesting. Luka's frustrations with the front office have been growing for years. Think about it. Since Luka was drafted in 2018, the Mavericks have gone through multiple coaching changes. First, it was Rick Carlisle, the legendary coach who helped bring Dallas its first ever NBA championship. Then came Jason Kidd, who has had a rocky tenure with the team. And let's not forget all the roster changes and the lack of consistent star power around Luka. They traded away Kristaps Porzingis, a player who was supposed to be Luka's co-star. They brought in Kyrie Irving, hoping he would be the perfect complement. But instead of finding stability, the Mavericks have been in a constant state of change. And that takes a toll on a superstar. Luka isn't just playing basketball, he's trying to win championships. So when a player like him sees constant coaching changes, roster shakeups, and questionable decisions from management, it's only natural that frustrations start building up. But there's one more huge piece to this puzzle: Luka's relationship with Kyrie Irving. We all know Kyrie is one of the most talented scorers in the NBA, but he's also one of the most unpredictable players in the league. So here's the million-dollar question: was Dallas secretly choosing to build around Kyrie and AD instead of Luka? Because if that's the case, this could go down as one of the biggest mistakes in franchise history. And honestly, only time will tell. And now, let's talk about what this means for the Los Angeles Lakers. Because this isn't just another trade, this is a franchise-altering move. The Lakers didn't just get another all-star, they got Luka Dončić, one of the most dominant offensive players in the NBA. Pairing Luka Dončić with LeBron James, this could be the most dangerous offensive duo we've seen since Kobe and Shaq, a pairing that dominated the early 2000s. Let's think about this for a second. LeBron is now 40 years old, but somehow he is still putting up numbers that most NBA players could only dream of. The man is defying time, averaging over 25 points per game in what should be the final years of his career. But here's the key difference now: he doesn't have to carry the entire offensive load anymore. With Luka Dončić running the show, LeBron can do something we rarely see him do: play off the ball. Luka is a natural floor general, one of the most gifted passers in the game today, and his ability to control the tempo, run the pick and roll, and create open shots for teammates means that LeBron can now conserve his energy and pick his spots. And that's huge, because we've seen how injuries and fatigue have started to catch up with LeBron in recent seasons. So in theory, this trade could extend LeBron's career by giving him a superstar teammate who can take over playmaking duties. And more importantly, this sets the Lakers up for the future. For the last several years, the Lakers have been living in the present, making moves to maximize LeBron's championship window. But what happens when LeBron finally retires? Well, now they have their answer. Luka Dončić is the future of the franchise. But, and this is a big but, will Luka actually fit in with LeBron? Because playing alongside LeBron James isn't always easy. We've seen it before. Players who are used to being the main guy, who are used to having the ball in their hands 24/7, sometimes struggle to adjust to the LeBron system. Just ask Russell Westbrook, a former MVP, an elite playmaker in his own right. But the moment he stepped onto the court with LeBron, his game completely fell apart. Or ask Dwyane Wade during his second stint in Cleveland, a player who had previously won championships with LeBron, but found himself completely out of place when the system didn't revolve around him anymore. So here's the million-dollar question: will Luka be different? Will Luka be able to coexist with LeBron? Or will we see yet another failed superstar pairing in LA? Because if these two can make it work, the Lakers just became one of the most dangerous teams in the NBA. And now, let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks. Because this trade isn't just about Luka Dončić leaving. It's about what the Mavericks got in return, and whether they just made a franchise-altering mistake. They're betting everything that Anthony Davis can be their new defensive anchor, the piece that will finally make them a true championship contender. But here's the problem: how much trust can you actually put in Anthony Davis? Because if history has shown us anything, it's that Davis is one of the most injury-prone superstars in the NBA. Let's take a look at the numbers. Since 2020, Anthony Davis hasn't played more than 60 games in a single season. Let that sink in. Over the past 4 years, Davis has missed over 30% of all regular season games. And even when he does play, he's often battling through nagging injuries that affect his mobility and effectiveness on the court. And let's not forget, Dallas just gave up a 25-year-old MVP caliber player for a 31-year-old star with a history of injuries. That is a huge risk. If Davis stays healthy, then sure, this trade could work. A fully healthy Anthony Davis is still one of the best two-way players in the NBA. He's a dominant rim protector, a fantastic rebounder, and a versatile scorer who can give you 25 and 12 on any given night. He's a proven champion, someone who has already won an NBA title alongside LeBron James. So if the Mavericks get that version of Anthony Davis, then this trade could actually be a win. But let's be honest, how likely is that? Because if AD breaks down again, if he misses time, if his body doesn't hold up, then guess what? The Mavericks just traded away Luka Dončić for nothing. They just gave away a top 5 player in the NBA in exchange for a superstar who might not even be available when it matters most. That's a nightmare scenario for Mavericks fans. So here's the real question. Is this a massive gamble, or is this actually a calculated risk? Did the Mavericks see something that the rest of us don't? Do they have a long-term plan, or did they just make one of the biggest mistakes in franchise history? Only time will tell. And now, let's talk about money, because this trade wasn't just about basketball. It was a financial bombshell for Luka Dončić. By getting traded, Luka just lost his shot at a $345 million supermax extension that he was set to sign with the Dallas Mavericks. That's right, $345 million. But now, that deal is gone. Just like that, Luka's guaranteed earnings just took a massive hit, and he's losing out on a staggering $115 million in the process. That's $115 million in guaranteed money, wiped away overnight. And if you think that's bad, oh, it gets even worse. Because let's talk about taxes. See, when Luka played in Dallas, he had a huge advantage that most NBA players don't have. Texas has no state income tax. That means every single dollar Luka earned from his NBA contract was his to keep. No state tax deductions eating into his salary. But now, he's in California. And California has one of the highest state income tax rates in the entire country. A brutal 14.4% on any income over $1 million per year. Let me break this down. Luka's making roughly $50 million per season under his current contract. In Dallas, he would have kept almost every penny of that, outside of federal taxes, of course. But in Los Angeles, that 14.4% state tax means he's losing around $7.2 million per year just because he plays in California instead of Texas. And over the course of his contract, that's tens of millions of dollars gone, just in state taxes alone. And that doesn't even include the higher cost of living in Los Angeles compared to Dallas, which means everything from housing to business expenses will cost Luka significantly more. So let's add this up. $115 million gone from the supermax deal he missed out on. Tens of millions more lost in California state taxes. Higher cost of living in Los Angeles eating into his wealth. This trade didn't just change Luka's career, it changed his financial future. Now, does Luka have other ways to make up for this? Absolutely. Sponsorships, endorsements, and playing in a massive market like LA could open new doors. But the question remains, was this trade really worth the financial hit? Or will Luka look back one day and regret leaving Dallas, not just for basketball reasons, but for financial ones too? Because make no mistake, this trade just cost him a fortune. So what do you think? Did the Dallas Mavericks just make the biggest mistake in franchise history? Did they just give away a generational superstar in Luka Dončić, a player who could have led them to multiple championships, for an aging, injury-prone Anthony Davis? Or did they actually make the right move? Could Anthony Davis prove everyone wrong and turn the Mavericks into a defensive powerhouse? Will this trade finally give Dallas the defensive identity they've been lacking for years? And what about Luka in LA? Is this trade going to be the start of something legendary? The move that makes Luka Dončić the next face of the Lakers and one of the biggest superstars in NBA history? Or is this going to be a disaster? Will Luka clash with LeBron James? Will he struggle to adjust to the LeBron system, just like Russell Westbrook and other ball-dominant stars before him? And here's the real question. Will Luka look back one day and regret this trade for the rest of his career? Because let's be honest, we've seen superstars leave teams before thinking it was the right move, only to wish they had never left. Will Luka be the next example of that? Or is this the beginning of his greatest chapter yet? I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Is this trade a W or an L for the Mavericks? Did the Lakers just steal Luka Dončić, or did Dallas actually make a smart move? And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this season is about to get absolutely insane. We've got superstar shakeups, championship battles, and one of the most exciting NBA storylines in years, so make sure you stick around. You won't want to miss what's coming next.